This week in comic books, Sgt Rock is back, fighting the bad guys from World War II and zombies. It doesn't get any better than that for a middle-aged guy like myself. Also, in the land of Marvel, I don't know. I have an issue with a cover, and I need your help. I'm legit asking for help on this. Um, I'm confused. And in the land of independence, Old Dog comes out. Man, I don't know what it is about old CIA dudes, but they just terrify the hell out of me. And this book confirmed why. All that, a few other books, and I got three kind of key back issues I want to share with you as well. But first, a very important message from the most important person in the comic book community.
Cheers. How you doing today? Hmm. Coffee brand coffee. Very good. Must say. Go get yourself some.
Thanks for the kind words, Chip. All right, guys, let's jump into this week's comic book haul and review. We're going to kick this off with DC and Sgt Rock. So first, I got the polybag one. Unfortunately, somebody had already opened it. I really wanted the 1 in 100 cover. If you haven't seen that, use the Google machine over there and check that cover out. Oh, I really wanted that 1 in 100. But I'm still super happy to get this. It's still really great. And it's a tropey World War II horror story, right? So you got zombies, you got Adolf, he needs his army, needs resources. Why not just reanimate the dead and attack them? And then we got Sergeant Rock and the boys from Easy Company. They got to go fight this problem, find this scientist, and of course, Adolf's always an open target as well. I like the fact that they used what we consider as average technology today in introducing it then. I love the whole walkie-talkie thing. Like they're like, hey, you guys can talk to each other through these things anywhere. It's basically a glorified cell phone. And then using night vision, right, in a scope form, that was kind of cool. And then, of course, using thermal scopes as well. I thought that was cool. I thought it was fun. I love it when they kind of integrate technology, uh, today's technology, in these older world settings. I like that. Sometimes technology takes a long time before it becomes as wide open as it is. The internet was invented in the 70s. And I think if somebody hasn't been on the internet or absolutely refuses, that's a very small number, I'm sure. So I like how this kind of played into that. Not a huge fan of the panel to panel art in here. But I was able to look past it because I just got engrossed with the story. I almost wish I just waited on picking this and just kind of just picked it up in a trade paperback or something to catch it all at one time. That's how good I thought this story was. Simplistic in nature, yes, but I don't know. There's just something about just a good, simple war story with a little horror and fantasy thrown into it, and that definitely delivered. Next, Blood Syndicate number 5. Now, I've been reading this and I've been enjoying this. I love this. And this one, Holocaust, our main villain here, rocking his flaming crown there. We kind of get a little bit of his backstory, and of course, it's tragic and sad because that's what we have to do with villains now. We can't just have bad people. Well, okay, whatever. He's bad now. I'm on board. We also meet his partner. And finally, Icon and Rocket, two of the strongest superheroes in this particular part of the world or universe of DC, they pop in there and like he just wipes them quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? And then like the new team shows up, right? The Blood Syndicate. I like this, and I can get, and I've read some people's complaints that they went racial with it. The bad white cops, the bad white this, blah 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 blah. Those cats need to settle down. Because if you took the racial part of this and you extract it from the story, it reads just like any other story. Imagine Batman, Superman show up to beat somebody, they get crushed, and that new level team comes and gets right. It's kind of tropey. And adding this kind of racial divide into it, I get it. It does separate it. I thought the writer did a very good job of that. Um, so yeah, and I love the artwork in here too. It's visually just pleasing to read. There were some, and I think this is a fair criticism. Every now and then they do the bubble thing without explaining who's talking off scene, so you don't know who's talking, and they do that quite a bit through here, and it kind of throws you off a little bit because it's like, okay, I'm not sure what voice in my head I should be using while I'm reading this. Um, and it's not like a surprise appearance either. It's like a conversation happening in some cases. But as far as complaints go, I think that's extremely minor because a few panels later you find out who it is and you kind of piece it together. It's like a little puzzle. It's fun. All right. Tim Drake, Robin, #1 from DC. We get our Harley Quinn anniversary cover there. Why? Because Harley Quinn's hot right now. Because anniversaries, whatever. So Tim Drake, if you don't know, this book wants you to understand that Tim Drake is in a relationship with another man. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, you're not going to like this story. They lean into it very heavily, along with the other relationships of people in this particular marina that he's now living in. Apparently, it's down on the dumps, and some people are wanting to redevelop that area, and of course, people have a problem with it. And then we get our murder mystery with a villain who has an infatuation with Sherlock Holmes stories or detective type stories. Because we get a glimpse of an old Sherlock Holmes and Edgar Allan Poe story in here about the gorilla. It was interesting. I enjoyed the action in it. I do disagree with the pseudo politics of it, economic development of it. I don't understand why people don't want somebody to come fix up an area, right? And the argument's always they're going to raise the rent in the area so nobody can live there. Well, people that can afford can live there, and they pay a higher tax rate, and they contribute more. Now, I'm not saying I hate on the poor or anything like that. I'm not that type of person. I'm not that heartless, right? I do care about that. But when these places get built up, it brings other job opportunities into the area too, with a higher pay wage. So I don't know. Good question for you. If a place was about to be redeveloped, what would be the perfect scenario? And then what would you pitch in to make sure that that happens? And remember, verbs can't build, or I'm sorry, words cannot build buildings, and they cannot produce income, right? A physical function has to happen there. Would you open up a small business and pay a livable wage? Would you create social economic grants throughout the area? I mean, what would you do? And I'm an economic development specialist, and I often wonder, what is the expectation of the people that are living there to stay this way, or we keep dumping money in there because that's an endless pit that never stops. So I did kind of hum and haw at that, but again, as normal, there's no real solution, right? It's just a complaint at that point. So I found that to be kind of troubling. I know when I worked like baseline economic development before I became a specialist at it, I got called every name in the book, but I never got a solution or an answer of how to make things better. So, yeah, your boy Pokin got a little thick-skinned over the years. All right, a book that didn't need to be written. Thor 26 going into Marvel. So Eddie Brock's Venom and Thor meet up here because we have a villain, and it's just too much villain. And and I hate to say that. I'm a villains guy. Love my villains. But this is just a little over the top. We get Desmond the Devil, or Demon. Desmond the Demon. Pitt. He's got more names than I can actually think right now. He's basically a creation of Doctor Doom and a demon. We have a red Thor's hammer in here because Thor. And, he's got a symbiote. No, Bedlam. Bedlam in him. Which is basically just another King in Black along with Eddie Brock. He shows up. He's terrorizing. He just wants to destroy things. There's no rhyme or reason to him as of right now in this issue as the story arc launches. And of course, Eddie Brock shows up, and a bunch of other characters, and everybody just stands around and talks. There were some cool scenes in it as far as the art went, but story-wise, it just seemed flat to me. I didn't much care for it. Okay, so right, this is where things get sticky here on YouTube, and I get worried about this. So I picked up Thunderbolts, and of course I picked up the American Chavez one. My question is, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, and that's fine. You can get upset about it. Why is she on the cover? I know, because she's Hispanic. No, she's not. She is not Hispanic. She is from another dimension. She's basically an alien in the cosmic sense. I want to be clear in my verbiage right now. in a cosmic sense. She's from another world, right? And we have 14 other, I'm looking at my other screen here, Hispanic born characters that we could throw on a cover. And it's not unusual for Marvel to stick a character on a cover and them not be in the book because you're celebrating a particular month. I bring this up because there was the issue with the Green Lantern cover and, right, the controversial cover where he had a bag full of burritos, tamales, that kind of stuff in there. And a lot of people are like, well, there's more to culture than food, and everybody lost their minds about it. And I would agree. Culture is more than just the food, but food from a particular culture is a great introduction to a culture, right? It's a thing you do to sit down and talk about the culture and feast and eat and experience, right? If you're an outsider. And then we throw basically an ET on the cover and claim Hispanic Heritage Month. I don't know. I get a lot of people associate her as Hispanic, and that's fine. But if you're going to bend and flex rules because you like something to be different in your own view or way, what's the difference between you and somebody's just making rules up as they go and expect everybody to follow them? Please comment down below if I'm missing something here. Because you can make the argument she was raised by Hispanics. Again, if I took somebody of another culture, another part of the world and brought them here in my little suburban, typical white house, in a cul-de-sac, would that make them white? Again, if it works one way, it has to work the other way in order for it to be equal. And that's just, I'm not sure why one had a problem and this was allowed. Personally, if I was Hispanic, I'd be offended by this. She's not. She's from another world dimension. She's not here. So I don't know. I'm probably wrong, but definitely, if you feel passionate about it, let me know down in the comments down below, especially if I'm missing something in this. I really want to know, am I looking at this too linearly? I think that's a fair comment. All right, next, Armageddon game. So just like the title implies, it's a game or a competition. It's war games is really what it is. So we got Baxter, Rat King, Null, and a few other cats and mutants, both old and new, on one side. And then we got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder and his new clan. We got, who else? Casey Jones. All of them are kind of off to the side as reporters and spies. We got the perfect setup for a not political, but more of a political disaster. Right? So many fractions, so many different people, because we're going to be pushing into Armageddon. And the games that are played to get there. These are political games, really. It was okay. I've never really been a huge Turtles fan. I enjoy it, but I'm not there are other fans out there larger than me. I thought it was interesting, but I don't think I'm going to be picking up another issue of it. It's just not for me. It's not my taste. All right, next. Old Dog. Old Dog is great. I love this. And then, of course, the end in a typical way that we end comic books in 2022. So, CIA agent, disgraced, the whole 9 yards. First off, we see the early missions of him in Berlin, Germany, singing a popular German song. And then we kind of flash back and forth to where he's at now and the thing that disgraced him and why he's basically just a desk jockey in a surveillance van at this point. And then he has to go in because mission went bad, so he jumps in there, and then a machine blows up, and, basically he regenerates now, and he can heal, and all this other stuff. And then at the end, he gets teamed up with his daughter, who's just another snarky person. Do we have to portray women this way? They don't have to be snarky. They can just be people. Normal people. You don't build yourself up by verbally attacking other people. I don't get that. I don't know why that's a thing. But apparently it is. I will pick up some more of this. I'm fascinated enough in it to see if maybe some sort of relationship, like a relationship, they rebond or something in the book, because obviously there's some separation there. And I'm sure they can go dive deeper into that story. All right, some 3 issues that I picked up that I just randomly found. We got the famous Batman 423, that Todd McFarlane cover. I picked that up in Bubba. That is clean. No rust, no color breaks in the spine. It is tight. I'm super happy to have that. Next, the new Teen Titans #1. You know, the reintroduction of the Teen Titans as they came out. This one's probably not in the best cover. We got some damage there. We got some damage down there. Let's put it in focus. There and there. A little rust. It's an older copy, definitely, but you know, I'm sure somebody will enjoy it. And then Wolverine #1, and probably my favorite Wolverine cover. So yeah. So with all the news of Wolverine being in the Deadpool, you know, are they trolling us? What's going on there? I don't know. But if you were worried about the cost of a 181 now, I can only imagine what the future lies. All right, guys, that's my books this week. It's relatively short. I want to thank you for swinging in. Right now, as you're watching this, I'm in Ohio. Probably be bopping around some comic book stores. We're trying to anyways. And packing my daughter, bringing her back here. So super happy to see that. And this weekend, we should be launching over at Evil Layer Projects and Builds. Link in the description. We'll be launching DJ Lynx's video for his the project we worked on him. So you definitely want to hit that notification bell. Check that out. That's over at Evil Layer Projects and Builds. And as always, I have a merch shop down below. If you need some Evil Layer villainous type gear, I got you covered down there. And of course, Coffee Brand Coffee if you want some good coffee. Definitely. Don't take my word for it. Take the White Shadow's word for it. The most important man in our community. All right, guys. I got nothing else. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.